In the end, it's up to recruiters to sell the military. Traditionally, they did that in high schools, face-to-face. COVID stopped in-person school, thus the square-jaw recruiter with a sharp uniform couldn't challenge kids to push-up contests. For years, that was Jesse Moon. Over 11 years, he recruited 1,200 soldiers. His first sergeant for recruiting companies he oversaw signing up another 12,000 and joins us. Now, Jesse, we appreciate you joining us. We can all agree this is a problem, right? One of the statistics that I thought was just stunning was that only 25% of kids in high school right now, between the mental fitness tests, physical fitness tests, rules on tattoos, rules on drug use and past criminal behavior and the like, and academics, only 1 in 4 kids are even qualified to be recruited.
That's right. Only 1 in 4, and then there's another study that goes out there. Only 9% are actually interested in military service, for whatever reason that is.
We'll get to the reasons in a minute, and they're varied and there's different feelings on it. The Pentagon makes this big point, right? When you talk about recruiting numbers, they say it's affecting readiness, it's affecting the force lethality, it's affecting the national security of America. But they say it all comes back to COVID and in-person learning. And if only it is recruiters like yourself who are able to get back into the high schools and start talking to kids, then all of a sudden they're going to start signing up.
Yeah, I really feel that it has nothing to do with COVID. I think it has everything to do with values and principles that we've been getting away with all the way from the top of the government down to the single family home, the values and principles that this country once stood for.
When you say values, and this has become sort of the euphemism, or maybe the other way around, for a quote-unquote woke military, right? And I wonder why, if somebody's willing to meet the physical standards, meet the mental standards, on and on and on, they're willing to put on the uniform, they're going to swear allegiance to the Constitution and put their life on the line for their country, why the rest of it really matters and what their behavior is outside of the military really matters.
It's all about what they represent. Just like our last name is whoever's watching, your last name means something. And that's why you have to give it 100% on whatever you do. Same thing with the military is we're not just representing ourselves, our families, our military, we're representing our country. And that belief with the values and principles in which we grow up in, that belief has to be embedded into our system at a young age. And I'm not passing blame or for whatever reason. I just feel we've gotten away from what it actually means to be a soldier, to be a Marine, a sailor, an airman.
It's interesting you bring up the Marines because we've done a couple stories on them, and they're the ones who continue to meet their recruiting goals. They haven't really changed their ethos, the warrior ethos. They haven't changed the way they do their ads. They've still kept their standards where they're at. They still sort of challenge people, are you ready to be a Marine? That's very different than the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force that starts selling things more based on, hey, free college, and we'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll teach you a skill.
Yeah, it's the Marines. I mean, you're going to hear it's a smaller branch, so it's going to be easier for retention, to keep esprit de corps high. But the Marines stood for something, for valor, for just for sense of purpose. And it goes to the Army, where we're the largest branch. And I see them giving out $100,000 bonuses. It's like dangling a carrot in front of somebody. But we have to really understand what is wanted these days. Now, even new college students have dropped. And we have to ask yourself why. And when it comes to recruiting, they're recruiting without purpose. So an Army recruiter walks up to a young high school kid, let's say, and he's asking him, so how are you going to pay for college? How are you going to do this? They're thinking logically and instead emotionally. When I was recruiting, it wasn't a logical sell, it was an emotional sell. And I sold based on experience and what the military could do to help provide them for life outside of the military as a stepping stone. So the Marines, that's what they have going for them, is sense of purpose.
Yeah, I was going to say, considering that you were the most successful recruiter, as I've read it, in years in the Army, have they come back to you and said, hey, got any thoughts for us?
They have not.
Huh, that says something. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.